Welcome back to the WDS Originals YouTube channel. My name's Jason and I am well aware that I currently look a little bit homeless, but that is because I've been spending all of my time building my V10-swapped E92 M3 that in today's video we've got the pleasure of putting the key in and pressing start for the very first time.
We've not got an engine management light on. Turn it off, turn it off.
Now before we get into today's video with those all important sound clips, mapping this car up and some of my friends' reactions, I'd just like to remind you that there's a full build playlist for this car down in the description. And of course, if you guys aren't currently subscribed to the channel, if I can ask you do me a massive favour and hit that subscribe button, as it will enable me to carry on building cars just like this into the near future. Now that's enough waffling, so let's get into today's video. Now we've currently got a deal in the car with a laptop on his lap, on the phone to Jason in America. Yes, there's another Jason, American Jason, who's going to be doing a lot of the remote tuning on this car.
User output 5.
Be that GP out 5 is always on, that was the only difference.
Let's see. I guess we'll connect it to the car and just validate all the inputs again.
So that's Jason basically controlling that computer.
Yeah,
from America.
Should be connected now. Yep.
Yeah, that's so smart. You can tell I'm a technophobe, can't you?
Have you got control? Can you see it?
Yep, I'm in here.
Sweet.
That is crazy. I didn't realise you can both operate the computer.
Which one? This one. Which one's this?
That should be the brake servo pump.
And how about now? Do you hear it clicking?
Do you want to go so you can hear me?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, perfect. I can hear that and feel it. Can we go to number 2, injector 2? Yeah, clear as day. And with all three of us now satisfied that this car was wired correctly, the ECU was communicating with all the injectors, coil packs and every single sensor, it was time to start this car up.
Okay.
Good to go?
One more again.
Ready?
Yep.
It runs!
Running smooth as anything.
Mate, I'm so excited. It's smoky because I had the engine upside down and it all ended up in that idle control valve, if you remember.
Yeah.
It's not even that loud.
No, it's really quiet.
I was expecting this to be really loud.
Do you know, does this car have the regular, the 6-bar?
It has the factory Bmw fuel pressure sensor, and I don't know if we set a calibration on it.
I did.
Okay. We've not got
an engine management light on.
Turn it off, turn it off. Sorry, we just remembered we ain't got no coolant in it either, so we don't want to run it for too long.
Yeah. I was about to say probably ought to shut it down
off, yeah.
For right now till we get that. VVT position. We'll set the VVT later. Not super worried about that.
So as you guys just heard, when we first started this car, we didn't have a header tank, no electric fan, and none of these coolant hoses. That's because we needed to gain access to some of those solenoids and sensors in order to do our earlier checks. So that evening, once Adil had gone home and Jason had logged off, I spent a bit of time rebuilding the entire front end of the car, fitting that header tank and everything we needed. Not only that, but I also run the USB cable from the ECU, which is down in the centre footwell, all the way back to my TV that's on the wall at the back of the garage. I did this via a laptop, which obviously has M-Tune installed, and then we were able to have all this information displayed at the back of my garage. This meant that I could look at all the live logs in a much nicer format and actually be able to study it with Jason in America, whilst the two of us went back and forward, communicating via text and also emailing each other the logs back and forth. This process continued for a couple of days.
A few moments later.
We are about to just drag and drop the current updated map file as we're having some problems with the VANOS accumulator not getting the right pressure. So I had to send the sensor reference to the mapper in America. He's inputted that, and now we're going to try again, and hopefully this time it will run a lot quieter and be a little bit more smooth. and fingers crossed it all goes to plan. So I'm also going to set a camera up at the back so that you can see exactly what's going on the screen, and at the same time see the car starting and everything. Fingers crossed, all goes to plan. So I'm going to try and do this where I'm not in your way, but what you can see is the graph here that was logging all the information previously from when we first started this car. And there was a few things that weren't 100% correct. So the mapper in America has taken this log and the file, and he has basically done his magic and sent me the updated file. So we're just going to download that to the system. If you haven't already gathered, I don't use Windows computers very often, and I certainly don't use this software, so I am a little bit slow with it. Let's put that on the desktop and then go onto MaxxECU and basically connect to the car. So I'm going to lift you off of this camera stand and hopefully you'll understand what's going on. So we've got a USB cable, as we mentioned previously, running into the car, MaxxECU down there. So we're just going to turn the ignition on. And then if I go on here, which is open tune file, so that's now written the current map file to the car. I do apologise for the back and forward with cameras and everything else, but you guys want to see it live, so you're going to have to put up with it, I'm afraid. And let's leave you there for a second. Fingers crossed. Ready? Right, well that was not very happy compared to last time. So you can see here what was going on as we started the car. You've got all the information going on here and all the logs of everything over to the right. Now, I do not claim to be a mapper in any way, shape or form, so I am going to save log file, not happy. Save. And then we're going to go back to my emails and send that to Jason in America.
A few moments later.
And within all of a couple of minutes, he's replied, basically saying that he's away from the computer and that if I need to go into the VVT settings and manually input them. That is the ECU online. We then need to go to VVT as per his instructions and go to intake cams and make sure that they are set to 1500 RPM and do the same to all of these. So 1500 RPM, exhaust cam, 1500 RPM, and again 1500 RPM. And once we've done that, we need to then save the tune and save, and hopefully now when we start this car up it won't cut out straight away. So that's the car running. Here's the exact live data that we've got going on just here. And as you can hear, we have quite a smooth running engine. For some reason on camera it does sound like a rattly old diesel, but it's definitely not, I can assure you. So we'll let that warm up for a minute, do its thing, and then we might, if you're lucky, flip the throttle a little bit, depending how it looks on those log files. So, I'll catch you in a minute. Now, I don't know how this is going to sound on camera, but I'm going to put the microphone that I'm currently talking to on the boot just there, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it quite well. Right, you ready? So that was just a gentle rev, just to have a little look at some log files. Everything actually looks alright, so are you ready for a little bit more? Now tell me that wasn't epic. Oh man, I'm so happy. Hopefully you guys have got a bit of an understanding as to what's going on. I'm now going to be back and forward with Jason in America, and then we'll be able to get onto the gearbox settings and making sure everything runs properly, and hopefully getting it out on the road. The following day, Danny popped over with some celebratory pizzas, and then we got his reaction too.
Can I just literally bang it?
Mate, it's fine. Like, it goes to 5,000 RPM. It will sit on a limiter at 5,000. Mate, it's loud, isn't it? Is Adil having a go? Adil's scared that.
The surprise already caught me off guard, to be fair. Danny's face was
You swear, that needs sorting.
Annoyingly, Danny was right. There were a few little issues that I still needed to sort. Currently experiencing a few faults on the dash. I believe one of them is my own fault, which is related to the steering wheel. There's like a ribbon behind the steering wheel. It's called a steering wheel squib, or depending on how you want to word it. But I think when I've had the engine in and out, I've spun the steering wheel too much and damaged that, which has given me a few issues, and that is why my paddles currently aren't working. Now, the other thing I'm getting at the moment, I've just had the car sat on idle, so you won't necessarily see it, but if I give it a good rev, you can now see that we have an engine management light. Well, this is how good I am with technology, look. Try that one back on there. And then you can now see that we have ECU warnings, and it says here VVT control. I believe that is going to be related to the VANOS and the controlling of the VANOS. So hopefully he can dial that in, and then once we're done with that, we are pretty much ready to take this car up the road and go on road test. So there we have it. One BMW E92 M3 with a V10. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you found it quite informative. And if there's anything you guys want to know, drop a comment down below, and of course I'll do my best to answer as many as you as possibly can. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.